Versatile Mage. Chapter 167 Forest of Kungao. The reason why the thunderclap was so strong was that it could destroy anything in a blink of an eye without leaving any traces behind, which was also why Teacher Gu Han had acted at once even when Bai Kang Feng had his magic equipment. In truth, the intermediate level lightning magic, thunderclap, was too ruthless. Even with the magic equipment, Bai Kang Feng would still probably be crushed in an instant. Thus, even when Bai Kang Feng was confident that he could repel Mo Fan's attack, Teacher Gu Han felt that there was no reason for him to risk being derelict of his duty. And now, Mu Nujiao was faced with the same thing experienced by Bai Kang Feng. As the thunderclap struck, one would suffer extreme injuries, if not death, if he or she failed to evade the devastating attack. It was also insufficient to possess defensive magic equipment, as the thunderclap might just shatter the magic equipment along with its owner. But this time, Gu Han stood aside calmly. He had already seen Mu Nujiao's defensive measures. Besides, from Gu Han's perception, Mu Nujiao was entirely out of that idiot Bai Kang Feng's league. Wind Trail, Drifting Shadow. Mu Nujiao, who was still moving slowly, suddenly shifted swiftly as soon as the thunderous storm shrouded the air above her. In the midst of the raging lightning, her curvaceous body could be seen moving agilely on the set-up wind trails, her clothes dancing around her from her rapid movement. The raging lightning went on a rampage in the arena, drilling out a huge hole in the ground with relentless power. But Mu Nujiao had already traveled 10 meters away from the spot. If the Lightning Star Atlas was completed before the Star Trail was released, the thunderclap would definitely be an attack that could not be evaded. Too bad for Mo Fan. Mu Nujiao had already prepared herself for this attack, praised Gu Han in his heart as he nodded his appreciation. Ruthless and swift, that was the style of intermediate lightning magic. And judging from what Mu Nujiao had pulled off, she obviously had a certain amount of understanding of intermediate lightning magic, and so she set up her wind trails long ago. With that, all she had to do was wait until Mo Fan completed his spell and quickly shift her position away from his attack as soon as the thunderous cloud took shape. If she had moved slightly earlier, he would have been able to lock onto her again, and if she was too slow, the speed of her wind would be no match for the lightning. Hence, she chose a very precise moment and made use of her primary magic to evade Mo Fan's intermediate thunderclap. What an incredible woman! She actually dodged the thunderclap, thought the now shocked Mo Fan. Now, he had finally met a strong mage. Unlike those students who knew nothing more than just studying the moves and applying their knowledge without creativity and flexibility, Mu Nujiao had obviously been showered with countless battles. Those battles granted her quite a bit of knowledge on intermediate tier magics. After all, being able to grasp the timing and location of the final point of the thunderclap was not something just anyone could do. Seems like you are going to lose. Using the wind trails she had cast, Mu Nujiao now stood at a place where Mo Fan's attacks could not reach. This time, she would not give Mo Fan even the slightest chance to cast another thunderclap. Really, if you use the wind disk tornado again, I will have already evaded it long before it reaches me, said Mo Fan as he looked at her. The wind disk tornado could cover a very huge area, but its speed was relatively slow. Hence, during the time it traveled from one end of the arena to the other, Mo Fan would have enough time to take measures against the tornado. Have I ever said that I was going to use any wind element magic? Replied Mu Nujiao as a bright and sweet smile blossomed on her face. The smile was so beautiful, but Mo Fan only felt immense danger coming from it. Forest of Kungao. Green star trails that resembled twisted vines appeared under the feet of Mu Nujiao. They quickly formed into a symbol that resembled nature, surging with condensed life force. She called out the name of her spell as if she was reciting a long-forgotten incantation while controlling the spirits of nature that danced around the nature totem. With a finger flick, she turned the enormous life force into an unattractive seed shrouded in green light. The seed dropped to the ground not far away from Mo Fan. In just an instant, Everything changed when the seed burrowed into the floor. Something was emerging from the floor, and before Mo-Fan could react, countless strange-looking trees, vines, and roots came charging out from the floor. They pushed aside the arena floor around them, and what was even more terrifying was that they all matured at a visible speed. Some even twined together before they spawned more seeds that quickly ripped open into even more branches and vines, while some continued spreading across their surroundings before they formed an area filled with only plants. A few seconds ago, this area was filled with sand, rocks, and other debris. But now, this area was invaded by these plants that gave off a presence like a massive monster invading a place in search of something. Clearly, these plants possessed the ability to detect life force. They sensed Mo-Fan and circled around him as they grew unbridledly. Whenever Mo-Fan ran away, these plants would not stop him but instead quickly grew into a thick vine forest that slowly cut off his path. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.